Hey everybody, Edo here, and the good folks at Little Rocket Games have sent along Insert Coin to Play, One Card Dungeon, and Cyberdoom Tower, their blue collection, which is live on Kickstarter. Now, I actually know Little Rocket Games because they're doing an Italian version of Herbaceous, so keep that in mind, but they sent this along because I do videos, and I checked it out. One, I dig the size and format. It's like a nice little set of games, and I dig the art direction of all of them have that pixel art retro gaming feel. So super cool. Different games, but all easy to learn and play quickly, but it's cool. So quick, just to give everyone an idea. So Insert Coin to Play. This is a fun little game. It's a flip and write, if you will. And what you're going to be doing is, in this game, you have all of these sort of classic pixel icons. And on your board, you're gonna get 3 of them and draw them out on your board, but they're not going to be shaded in. And essentially what's happening is you then start flipping coins, and at the bottom, there are the tetromino or whatever little things you're going to fill in. So everyone who's playing is filling in their little pixel art. So, like, it's a little slow with the pixel art at the beginning because everyone's got to trace it out, and some people are better than that at others. But I actually thought that was fun. And then really, you're just flipping shapes and putting them in and filling in. And there's some dynamics where if you clear a card, you get a bonus. So you know, maybe with this one lets you fill in 2 on another one or that kind of thing, or hurting a player, so an opponent. So there's like an interesting dynamic on what you're going to work on first and how the things are coming along. But that's it. Trace, put out a shape on your board, start filling it in with Tetris pieces. It's simple, fun, it works. Played it with the family, explained it in like 2 minutes and played, and we all had a good time, and have played multiple times since. So definitely a fun one here. And this is really the only group game out of the bunch. One Card Dungeons for 1 player and Cyberdooms for 2, but this plays 2 to 6 we played a number of times with 4. So One Card Dungeon is the next up. This is, and actually I saw the rules as PDFs. There aren't any rules in these prototype boxes, so I suspect there will be, or maybe it's the PDF, I don't know, but I had the versions that were in progress online. For One Card Dungeon, this is a One Card Dungeon right here. And your orientation are different levels of enemies. There's spider, goblin, dragon, and skeleton. And what you're going to be doing is you have dice in a card, but basically you have your hero unit on the board at the stairs, where at the start you place enemies on the board based on who they are and their strength on the level, so you're going to have enemies on the level, and then you're going to roll, you have some base abilities, your base stats for like movement, attack, defense, and range, and then you're going to roll some like adders on for speed, attack, and defense. So basically, I have my guy on the board, or gal, whomever, the enemies, and I have my movement, attack, and damage. So I move based on movement rules, 2 to move 1 space, 3 to move diagonal, and then I have a range of attack and a line of sight, which is sort of crazy, and then you attack, and you do damage, and if you hit somebody, you weaken them. Then they move, and it's a solo game, so you move them, and they're sort of just hunting towards you, and there's some movement rules there, and then they attack you, and then you defend. That's it. You work your way. There are some interesting moments having to do with range and line of sight to sort of, like, it's pretty straightforward. But there is a little bit more there than you think at first. Though at the same time, a lot of it does come down to your rolls. And if you roll on the 6s, you're going to be pretty beefy going through the experience, because that's really the heart of it. But again, there is some dynamics at play with. It's sort of like there were what was it called? The skeleton game. Or mummy game, where you were in a room and every time you took a step, everything moved for you and towards you, and you sort of had to like get them to bump into walls and stuff. It's not quite there, but there is some with the line of sight and hiding that is the difference between winning or losing around sometimes. But that's the game, pretty straightforward. I mean, again, I don't know what the set of all this will be on the Kickstarter, but, you know, it's a card and some dice in this one. There's a lot more going on in that one from a component standpoint. And actually, the last game here, Cyberdoom, This is sort of the meatiest. It's 1 to 2 players. It's essentially the same game. You just have a little bit more going on. So, you know, I guess what I was saying is it's mostly what I would consider a solo design, except that you can play it with 2 players because you're sort of trying to beat the machine. There's this elevator shaft with you have your 2 unit cards for 1 or 2 players. These are based on the number of players in the board. I just give a little sense of it here. You're going to have items you can get. There's an AI at the top who's the final boss. Let's put him over here for now. And then you have these like mechs. And again, I think the art worked out really well on this. It's just cool overall. I know some of this is probably off screen here, but that's okay. And then you have some tokens and the items and your dice. And basically what's happening is you as a player are moving through the elevators using action points. Players all have some starting points to manipulate their die, to take actions. And you are, say, like a single player. I start my starting dice 3, 3, 3. Okay. And so basically, I'm spending these action points to move up and down and then towards the bots. As I do each of these, I wanted to show I didn't want to have all the games out, but I don't have this all set up. But basically, on these boards on the top, there's this top walking row which has numbers, but there's a key, some energy, some die symbols. Those give you, you can increase your values if you stop on them. You can buy an item, and you can get items and equip them that give you bonuses to attack and new weapons and that kind of thing. So you're gearing up, but you're also trying to collect keys, and the keys are how you get to the final boss. You need 3 keys to get to that boss. It might be 4 with 2 players, actually, but however many keys it is, and you're collecting them. You do your turn, and then the reason I say it's 1-player, 2-player games, you do your turn, and then you play for the AI, and the mechs start moving in. There's an interesting mechanic where each round it defines how far they can go, like the maximum range. But basically, they have a range, and if you're near them and you're visible, you can get attacked. There's a number of rules for attacking, and you're essentially trying to roll dice to get all the values to take out each system. There's any die, a number, if it's a white die, or on the boss guy, a red die. So you're trying to manipulate your dice to attack them and knock them out. When you knock them out, you flip them over. Get out of the way of the boss, you take them out. There's more going to it. It's a little bit more dense to pick up than the other 2. I think and you're picking up items and increasing your die roll and that kind of stuff. Like it's pretty typical dice manipulation solo game, right? Like I think there are a number have done this before. I like the visual direction. I like the spatial element to it, and there is an interesting enemy range, your range. It's the other one card dungeon has that idea again where you're like, it's not just fighting, but like thinking about when and where you're going to be in reach of them. But so, I'll put this away later, but this is the set of the Blue Collection. Again, they're very different games. I think these are really like for folks who like solo games. These are solo games. This one is, I dig for like just family playing and around. They're all good, right? But like this is like a group game where these are like pretty much solo experiences. You can play this one with 2-player, but it's still versus the AI. But I like the set. I like the viz. It's very cool how this all came together. So anyway, live on Kickstarter now. Hey everybody, Edo here, and thanks for watching Gaming with Edo. Reviews over here on this playlist, League and Insider videos over here on this one. Subscribe, share, all that good stuff. But most importantly, play some great games. Thanks.